Hey everybody, this is Nate Markham with the Manistee Dems. We're down here at the West Shore Community College building in Manistee, Michigan. We're holding an empty chair town hall for U.S. Rep. John Moolenaar. John Moolenaar has not attended a town hall in 8 years. We have residents here who have some questions for him, and we're going to ask him whether he's here or not.
And this is my message to Congressman Moolenaar. My name is Dawn Bensey. I'm a U.S. citizen and a constituent. I live at 18101 Red Barn Drive, Manistee County. I was born in Landstuhl in what was then West Germany while my father was serving the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. I was issued a consular report of birth abroad by the U.S. State Department confirming my citizenship. That document has since been misplaced. Replacing it cost $50. I've never had a U.S. passport, so obtaining one would probably cost, a couple hundred more. Expenses I will now have to incur just to be able to vote if the SAVE Act becomes law, which you voted in favor of. This constitutes a poll tax. What you have to say to millions of Americans, especially women, who changed their names after marriage may now face barriers to voting under this law. There are already laws in place prohibiting non-citizens from voting in federal elections. In Michigan's 2024 election, an audit found that 13 non-citizens voted. If you multiply that across 50 states, you get a gross estimate of 200 potential illegal votes nationwide. So why did you, Congressman, vote to potentially disenfranchise millions of eligible voters in order to prevent 200 unlawful votes, especially when the safeguards are already in place? Is it because Republicans can't win if women are allowed to vote? So yeah, something like that. Anyone like to speak? Raise your hand.
Is there a time limit?
Not really. Keep it tight, but not really. Who wants to go? Go ahead.
All right.
Stand right here. Talk to the camera.
Please say your name so I can read.
You gotta
Okay.
say your name and let him know where you live so he knows you're a constituent.
I'll be glad to do so. John Moolenaar, my name's Dennis Kellogg, and I'm a farmer from Gratiot County, Michigan, right in the center of the state. John Moolenaar, where's the outrage? Where's the outrage over these tariffs? We've lost $4 a bushel on our price of our soybeans. This was just from the first time that Trump was in office in 2017 and 2018. Now this fall, John Moolenaar, we're looking at probably a price at harvest time that'll be below our cost of production. Where is the outrage, John Moolenaar? Why aren't you standing in the halls of Congress and yelling to the top of your lungs that this is wrong when you represent a district that has as much agriculture as the 2nd District of Michigan has? It's just absolutely wrong what you're doing. You and the rest of the Republican caucus. Mr. John Moolenaar, it's time for you to go. John Moolenaar, I'm going to be at your office the week of May 5th. There's a group of us from the National Farmers Union. I happen to be the vice president of the Michigan Farmers Union. And we're going to be in your office, and I'm going to ask you these questions to your face if you will show your face. So look for me. Keep an eye out for me. I may have to tackle you in the hall. I don't know. But we're going to visit. We're going to talk. Along with the other six Republicans that represent congressional districts in Michigan, and they need to leave as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kellogg. Thank you. All right. Who else has something to say?
Good afternoon, Representative Moolenaar. My name is Pamela Blair. I live at 5656 West Jagger Road in Ludington, Michigan. And I want to know what you are going to do about the status of all the students who have lost their visas and all the people who have been illegally deported and put in prisons without due process. Our courts have recently ruled that canceled student visas must be reinstated, and also anyone who is slated for deportation must be allowed due process. Will you support these court rulings? Will you do the right thing? Thank you.
I think I just read this morning, for the sake of accuracy, I did read this morning that the administration has reinstated the student visas, so that's a good thing. We've been going in the right direction, and that's proof that we know resistance works. It is working. So, anyone else have anything to say to the congressman? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, this chair's moved.
I'm sorry. Stand right there and talk to that camera.
Mr. Moolenaar, why are you not helping us? I see you on television and you're for this and that and family, and I didn't even know you existed until I saw you on television. I come from a long line of veterans. They need help. I have an Asian grandson, I have a gay son, and I have a son in the graveyard because he got involved in the cult. We need your help. I live on Social Security, barely. If I lose that, I have to move in with a family, and that would be awful. I go to the grocery store, I can't afford meat, I can't afford fresh vegetables, and I'm frightened. You need to get off your butt and help us.
What was your name, ma'am? Did you get her name? Ma'am? Can we have your name, please?
Sharon Nottingham?
Sharon Nottingham.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
just got involved. I did, before we were running, I did the Democratic volunteer. And since all this happened, I'm just trying to get more involved.
Thank you. Well, thank you. All right, so, sir, come on up.
Representative Moolenaar, my name is David Dufan. I live in Freesale, Michigan, and I've been looking for you for quite a long time. We call you Casper. I'm just wondering, why do you post Bible verses on Facebook and then vote to cut Meals on Wheels? I want to know why Republicans are suppressing voters. You remove drop boxes, you make it harder for students to vote, you won't accept their student ID, but you will accept a gun license. I wonder why you vote this way. You were elected by the people, all the people. And as far as the voting goes, many people probably don't know this. Of all the votes taken in the United States, in the history of the country, for every position in all elections, the number of fraudulent votes in the entire history of this country is 0.0000002%. Come out from your hiding, you coward.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, who wants to speak? Ma'am in the back.
Good afternoon, Representative Moolenaar. I'm Rainey Gilmore, and I live in Filer Township. Today is my 64th birthday. And I'd rather not be here. I'd really rather not be here. There's lots of things I'd like to do, but I'm here. Why aren't you? Why aren't you? My family has been fighting for this country since the American Revolution. My family has been militiamen, they've been Union Army, they've been Marines, they've been Air Force, they've been Navy, and they fought for this country. And I've never had to. But now, why am I here, my 64th year, and I have to fight? I have to buy multiple t-shirts that have multiple sayings. And I've got 4 more that I could wear. I'm not going to be seen without fighting for my family, for education, for women's rights, for the right to vote. I shouldn't have to be here, but I'm here. And where are you? You are on Facebook. You're on Facebook saying you're such a great Christian, posting these Christian things, but your actions are not at all Christian. I worked in the corporate world, and when a VP came in and he told me he had an open door, I knew for one thing, he didn't have an open door. Because if you have to say it, you aren't it. And you say you're a Christian, but you're not. And I want to say to you, you better hope and pray that there isn't an afterlife, because you're not going to heaven.
Happy birthday. You ready? All right. Jamie Hall, everybody.
My name's Jamie Hill. You knew you were going to do it. I am a resident of Newaygo County, Fremont. I'm a recent transplant to this area, but I grew up in rural Michigan all my life. And my life has been dedicated to doing the true public service that we expect out of our leadership. That I've been a paramedic. I've gone back to school to become a PA, to serve in rural America and provide that health care that we haven't been having and the shortage that we have. And in that world of true public service, you get judged by your actions and your inactions. I would refer to you as Representative Moolenaar, but you're not representing, so you get a Mr., and that's about it. Plenty of people have mentioned the items that we could judge you on for your actions, like the SAFE Act that's going to destroy so many people's ability to vote, or the No Rogue Rulings Act that you voted for to strip the judiciary of its power. But I'm here to speak more about your inactions, which are speaking louder, that your failure to speak or act against the harmful and unlawful acts that are happening in DC are showing your true character. And history is going to judge your character as lacking. You claim to support veterans, but you destroy the VA by allowing them to gut the healthcare providers that we need to support our veterans who deserve the best healthcare in the nation. You claim to support the farmers, but you're allowing DOGE to destroy the tariffs and every subsidy program that may seem on the surface, if you don't understand how government works, that it's a wasteful spending. But that spending goes to feed our school children and provide them with lunches and everything else. So government is complicated. If you can't figure it out, go somewhere else. You claim to support healthcare, which is where I'm at, and your cuts to Medicaid will gut every rural hospital system in America. We will not have doctors in our communities. It's just not going to happen. Most of them cannot survive a 5% cut in Medicaid payments, let alone a full 100% cut that they're talking. You also deny women the right to choose health care for themselves. You deny my trans brothers and sisters the right to have body autonomy and get the care they need. You make up lies about trans children to try to justify your position. And while you're deciding that children need to be hungry at school, they also shouldn't get pre-K programs. They shouldn't have health care provided to them. I know that you attended Hope Bible College and you had a Bible class there somewhere along the way. And if you are truly feeling yourself as a Christian, you should maybe look to Luke 10. You will find yourself in the Bible as one of the priests and Levites who walked by the wounded man on the side of the road. And right now, America is that wounded person that needs your help. And if you won't do it, someone else is going to have to stand up to do that. America has always been the home and safe haven for people fleeing oppression. But now we're finding it here. Those people that are fleeing to safety here are being snatched from the street, deported to foreign concentration camps. Toddlers are being forced to defend themselves in deportation hearings. A 2-year-old U.S. citizen was deported this morning. I'm sure that was a great threat to national security. I mean, I have seen toddlers behave. I think we should fear them all, but I don't think we need to deport them. Children are not receiving health care because their families fear ICE. The clinic I work in, we regularly have to have interpreters for the Spanish-speaking population. I have not had to use an interpreter since Trump's been elected. Those are children not getting health care because they're afraid ICE is going to snatch them from the doctor's office. This is ridiculous. The performative patriotism that the Republican caucus is out there pushing is just nothing but window dressing. The 100-foot flagpoles that we need at the White House now and all of the flag lapel pins to prove that you're American is useless. That's not what America is about. The true America is captured so perfectly in the poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty, which is not like the brazen giant of Greek fame with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch whose flame is the imprisoned lightning and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air bridge harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands, you storied pomp cries. With silent lips, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. We always used to think that applied just to the foreigners coming here to become Americans. But currently, rural America is tired, poor, and yearning to be free. That is us now as well. We need to stand to create the America that we all strive for. The true Americans that I know protect and uplift everyone, no matter their race, their gender, their sexuality, because that helps everyone. You, as our representative, need to uphold that standard. Demand the accountability from the administration, follow through with your oath to the Constitution, or step aside for the next generation of leaders.
Good afternoon, Representative Moolenaar. My name is Molly O'Toole, and I live at 309 Cypress Street here in Manistee, Michigan. I am here today to stand up for the hundreds of federal employees that call this area home. We see you. We see the way you have left us out to dry. We see the way you have allowed Elon Musk to inflict trauma upon the public servants in your district. We see the way you have allowed your constituents to needlessly suffer. We see our veteran coworkers struggle with the fact that they have fought for and served this country and wonder whether or not they will be able to come into work the next day. We see our public lands falling into disarray. We see the way you have abandoned us, and we will not stand for this. Sir.
Greetings, Mr. Moolenaar. Start out on a positive note. I like it when my politicians are transparent. I'm John Wolf from Ludington. I was hoping you would be here today, but it looks like you have lost your way. That's okay. There's a lot of good people here today to help give you some direction. But I'm confused. I'm confused by statements you made on a section of your website titled Accountability. What you wrote is this: Congress should continue to exercise its oversight authority of the executive branch. That's a pretty bold statement for a man with a cardboard spine. And then you wrote, I believe Congress must work to rein in expansion of administrative power. Ooh. And just to make sure everyone knows where you stand, you added that Congress must work to uphold the legislative responsibilities given to it by the Constitution. Now, maybe I missed it, but I'm afraid I haven't seen you act on any of these very fine sentiments. Can you please tell us what you did in the face of Donald Trump's dismantling of USAID? You should have spoken up then, because that program is authorized by Congress. It can only be dismantled by a president if members of Congress, such as yourself, sit on their hands and do nothing. Can you tell us how doing nothing is working to, quote, uphold the legislative responsibilities given to Congress by the Constitution? Again, when the toddler-in-chief declared a national emergency so that he could sidestep Congress and implement tariffs without a whiff of Republican congressional resistance, did you remind him that constitutionally it is Congress's job, not the president's, to regulate trade? When Kilmar Garcia was kidnapped and disappeared into a brutal Central American prison without due process, without any of the habeas protections the courts have said he is entitled to, did you speak out as part of your stated belief in, quote, reining in the executive branch? No answer. Cat got your tongue? Or what about the multiple occasions when Trump publicly discussed his willingness to deport American citizens to foreign prisons? including a 2-year-old this morning. Did you rebuke him when he tried to do away with birthright citizenship? Did you remind him that that's a constitutional right? When he flouted the orders of federal judges, including the Supreme Court judges, did you speak up and remind him that the judiciary is independent for a reason? Yeah. Did you remind him that we have always had, until now, checks and balances to ensure that we never come under the rule of a monarch or dictator? Unless I missed it, I don't think you did a single thing. In fact, Mr. Moolenaar, you went in the opposite direction, voting yes on the so-called rogue judges bill that seeks to impeach judges whose decisions Donald Trump does not like. So, unless you can explain to me how you have dealt with executive overreach, with unconstitutional abductions and disappearances, and abdication of your legislative responsibilities, I would suggest that you rewrite the statements on your website to reflect a central glaring truth about your leadership, that you repudiate the Constitution, the courts, and democracy itself. That wouldn't be the bright and glorious things that you would have us believe about you, but at least it would be the truth. Thank you.
So much. Thank you. Hi. Put name and talk to that camera.
All right, sweet. Good afternoon, Representative Moolenaar. My name is Vicki Sam. I am here in Manistee. I live here. And I am a part of Little River Band of Ottawa Indians, but I do not speak on behalf of them. I wrote you a while back regarding the Older Americans Act, and you wrote me back and said the S4776, the Reauthorization Act of 2024, was passed, and it authorized $15.2 billion through fiscal year 2029 to expand programs under the Older Americans Act, including home-delivered meals and caregiver support and community service employment for low-income older adults. However, recently the ACL, the Agency on Community Living, went under. There was no tribal consultations done, which by law is supposed to happen. Title III, which is Meals on Wheels for the elderly, and Title VI, which is the native equivalent of that, are now kind of lumped in the same line item for the budget, proposed budget for 2026. I ask and demand that Congress upholds the Older Americans Act and upholds this between the two different titles, Title VI and Title III, because our nutritional needs are different on the native side of things versus Title III. And I recommend and demand that you uphold this because we are getting louder and the ACL does not need to be done away with. It needs to be reinforced. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Rebecca.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Amadon. I am not going to face the camera because he's not here and you are. And I am from Manistee, Michigan. I am one of his constituents. I will not be giving my full address because, as we can see, they are deporting legal United States Americans, including a 10-year-old girl who has brain cancer, was just deported. Now, this is not the first time that I have looked at an empty seat that John Moolenaar was supposed to be sitting in. And the gentleman who spoke earlier, the farmer who said that he was going to go visit John Moolenaar, he won't be there. He won't be there. And he might be in his office, but he will not stand up, and he will not open the door, and he will not meet you. And let me tell you why. Because April 30th, 2024, I had an appointment with John Moolenaar in D.C. It had been on the books for months. I flew my 11-month-old daughter, my 4-year-old son at the time, and my husband, halfway across the country to meet with him, to talk to him about the national child care crisis. It was confirmed that he was in his office. He was sitting at his desk. They knocked on his door, went back there, asked if he'd like to come out and talk to us. Nope.
They came out and said, you know what, he might want to come out at the end for a picture, which by the way didn't happen. Because as soon as they figured out we were there to talk about the child care crisis, he wasn't gonna look at me. He wasn't gonna look my 11-month-old daughter in the face and tell her no.
What a coward.
Coward is exactly what you are. And also what this coward did in February of this year is he voted for the budget resolution that calls for $880 billion of cuts over the next decade from the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which oversees healthcare spending programs including Medicaid and Medicare. So when you are gaslit and they tell you no one's going to cut Medicaid and Medicare, it's a lie. It's black and white. It's in print. It happened. Okay, now granted, it just passed the House, you know, so things can still be done, but do not let people gaslight you. So let me tell you why, Mr. Moolenaar, Medicaid is so important to my family, because my daughter, who is going to be 2 years old on May 1st, we have found out that she has a degenerative disease called ataxia. Now, the only reason that she has learned how to walk is from early intervention programs in the state of Michigan, specifically early on, that is funded by Medicaid and by the Department of Education. Now, my family is also on Medicaid, which is why I so passionately advocate for it, not only for my own children and family, but for everyone who needs it or may one day need it, because we don't know when you're going to need it. And Medicaid has paid for her physical therapy appointments. It has paid for an MRI on her brain. It has paid for genetic testing. It has paid for the ankle braces that she wears that allows her to walk. So when this man votes in a way that could take those things away from my daughter, who deserves to have those things, then mom gets mad, okay?
Thank you so much.
Good job.
Eric.
Mr. Moolenaar, I'm disappointed that you chose not to attend the town hall today and meet with your constituents. Back in February, you were bragging about introducing new legislation to make sure that illegal aliens didn't receive Social Security. Well, while you were off in Washington introducing pointless, redundant legislation already passed into law in 2004, your president was kidnapping 2-year-old American citizens off the street and sending them to foreign countries. He's destroying our national security apparatus and putting all Americans at great risk, and he's tanking the strongest economy this country has seen in 50 years. I therefore ask this question: when will you begin representing those who elected you? What are you doing to benefit the lives of your constituents? What are you doing to lower the price of eggs and gas? What have you done to lower the cost of health care, child care, housing for young families? What have you done to prevent school shootings? What have you done to protect Medicare and Social Security for seniors? When will you begin to do your job?
Thank you. Ma'am.
I didn't give you my name, did I?
Give him your name.
My name's Eric Lampinen. I live in Manistee Township, and you've already got my address for the cattle car because you read it to me every time I call.
Thank you. I love it.
Hello, Mr. Moolenaar. My name is Liz Cannon. I live at 712 East Filer in Ludington, Michigan, and I am the chair of the Mason County Democratic Party. There are There are many of your constituents who live in that area. Even if we didn't vote for you, you work for us. And you need to remember that and look at how you vote, because we are watching what you're doing. Thank you.
Sir in the back. Yeah, sir in the back. I'll get both of you, don't worry.
Thank you very much. Representative Moolenaar, my name is Tave Reeser. I live in Pentwater, Michigan in Oceana County. I probably spent 45 years of my life voting for Republicans in many ways. And I would say about 15 years ago, I made that change when the Republican Party left the party of Abraham Lincoln. It became the party of racists, oppressive people, and just white men. I just want you to know that I am a historian and have studied a lot of history, especially of the 20th century. Last week, at this time, I had the opportunity to be in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, which, as you know, was taken over by the Nazis in World War II. I wrote a few things of just impressions of my visit from, again, just last week, and I would like to share them with you if I can. In this time of uncertainty, unlike many other times in my life, our visit to the Netherlands Nazi Resistant Museum and to the Anne Frank House Museum was insightful, deeply disturbing, and in many ways hopeful. To experience where Anne Frank, her family of four, and four other Jews hid from the Nazis for over 2 years was so moving. They were cared for by heroes taking great risk to their own lives and their families' lives. As you know, in the end, Anne, her family, and the others were discovered by the Nazis and sent to concentration camps. All but one, Anne's father, perished, most right before the Allies, this country being part of, liberated their camps. I mentioned leaving these museums with more insight on how this evil manifested, spread, and took hold in Europe and other parts of the world so quickly. It left me deeply disturbed, especially seeing notes left by today's visitors from across the globe warning Americans and other democracies with governments moving into more authoritarian rule to please remember the past. How quickly it happened and how horrific it was. And finally, I left with a sense of hope. Good did eventually win over this evil. So many heroic stories and people that risked their lives, lost their lives, their families' lives, and their communities to resist and in the end persevere. I believe we too, as a country, can persevere, but we must resist now. So many did not resist in the 1930s, and in the end, as many as 85 million people lost their lives in World War II and the Holocaust in the 1940s. We live in an incredible world, and we believe fortunate, and I believe fortunate to live in an incredible democracy. In our travels, we have found the U.S. to be so respected and looked up to by more than not on this planet, but they are concerned, yet cheering for us. We must do everything we can to preserve and protect this great democracy. I ask you, sir, to please stand up for our Constitution. I ask you to be a man and do your job. You took an oath to defend this country and to defend this democracy. And I hope we can make this democracy great again. Thank you.
My gosh, thank you. And it's this sir in the blue and gray jacket. And then I'll get you next, sir.
Congressman Moolenaar, I entitled this so you can actually understand what I'm talking about. Comparing taxes in the Affordable Care Act versus taxes through Trump's tariffs and the Republican stance on tax control. For my Republican acquaintances, it is crucial to examine the implications of tariffs on American consumers. Notably, the legal argument that Obama could not use a mandate in the Affordable Care Act to ensure state compliance and is pertinent. Research reveals that both the ACA and tariffs involve taxes affecting American citizens, albeit in different ways. The ACA introduced taxes on high-income individuals and health insurers to fund health care reforms. Whereas tariffs are important Whereas tariffs are import taxes, increasing the cost of goods for consumers and businesses. The ACA included taxes such as the net investment income tax and the additional Medicare tax designed to offset costs. In contrast, tariffs can increase prices for consumers and affect business competitiveness. The Supreme Court upheld the ACA's constitutionality, granting Congress authority over tax provisions. Consequently, it is crucial for Congress to restrain President Trump from imposing tariffs that have caused market volatility and losses. Congressman Moolenaar and his colleagues must fulfill their congressional duties and address this issue, as it is their responsibility to modify or repeal tax provisions, including those related to tariffs. My name is Jason Wilson, and I am the first vice chair of the Mason County Democrat Party.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Hello, Congressman Moolenaar. My name's Christopher Schultz. I live here in Manistee, Michigan. I've been trying to get a hold of you for the last year. I write, I call, I email. Best I ever got from you was a form letter, but I did get a hold of your staffers and they listened to me talk, which was good. I don't know if you've ever heard from me or ever will, or if you'll get this message or not, but okay, I was hoping to talk to you in person, but I guess that's never going to happen from what people are saying. I got 3 questions for you, pretty quick. First of all, I reluctantly voted for President Trump this election because he promised peace. He said he was going to put a stop to all the wars going on around the world. Well, today that peace seems farther away than ever. The war in Ukraine drags on, the Gaza ceasefire is broken down, the Syrian civil war has entered a new deadly phase post-Assad, with his former supporters and Christian communities being slaughtered by the victorious rebels, who the American government backed, by the way. Just gotta mention that. And now, 2 American carriers are bombing Yemen. What is the federal government doing to promote peace and stability in the world? Because it seems to me it's just getting worse. Thank you. The next thing I wanted to ask you today, you, last year I believe it was, you passed, in response to the protests about the war between the Palestinians and the Israelis that's going on in Gaza, you passed the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act to basically stop free speech on taxpayer-funded colleges and universities, which I don't know about you, but I think if my taxes go to something, my Bill of Rights should be intact there, you know? It's just kind of basic, but I want to know specifically, why is the definition used there of anti-Semitism being determined by a foreign organization which is headquartered in Germany? Does this constitute the penetration of foreigners into our legislative process? I'm just wondering. Speaking of foreign influence over our legislature, in the 2024 U.S. election, AIPAC and affiliated organizations spent over $100 million to influence the election. And over this century, there's been over 600 congressional trips funded by various Zionist organizations, including one that cost over $20,000, which you took to Israel. I gotta wonder, how many times has your office met with Zionist organizations, and do you see any difference between this and the influence of the Chinese Communist Party, which you regularly warn me about in your newsletter? Thank you.
I am so pleased to see just so many different people coming and telling your stories. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Sir. I'll get you both, don't worry.
Hello, Mr. Moolenaar. My name is Mark Gilmore. I'm in Filer Township. I want to talk about my parents, both being educators, both passed away now, but education was important to them. Apparently it's not important to the current administration. I don't know what your stand is on it, but it looks like the current administration wants an uneducated white males, basically, being the electorate. That seems the way it is. My parents were also very religious. They showed that with their actions, not their speeches. You, sir, are all talk. You, sir, also are a coward, as many people have given examples to, through your action or inaction, as well as a lot of the other Republicans in Congress. You're more afraid of a dictator than of your constituents, who you're voting for billionaires. How many billionaires are constituents of yours? You need to be more afraid of being elected out of office than staying in office by giving favor to a dictator, a rapist, a criminal in many, many ways.
Yeah.
So please, start showing your action, not your inaction. The fact that you're not here shows your cowardice. The fact that you've never had a town meeting in person shows your cowardice. I'd like to see some bravery and courage from a lot of Republicans in the Senate and Congress. Please, let's see something different. Thank you.
So much. Sir. Next gentleman, thank you so much.
My name is Darrell Goodman. I live here in Manistee. Representative Moolenaar, I feel like we've become pen pals, but I know that what I'm getting back from you is really from your staff. I will call you representative at this point because it's out of deference to the office, but hopefully you won't be the representative in a couple years. And I also won't look at the camera for this because I want to kind of get my message out here to all of you. I've been writing letters to the editor. You might have seen some of it. I really want to pick up on the theme of the lady who was talking about Medicaid. And I think we all need to understand that 20% of people in Manistee County are using Medicaid. 22% are on Medicare. This is 42% of the population of Manistee County. That holds true for the whole district. That's a large voting block. So we have to get organized to get everybody fired up about not only just getting Representative Moolenaar out of office, but all the other Republicans. And the last thing I have to talk about is really this catchphrase now of waste, fraud, and abuse. The only fraud that I've seen is on the Republican side, where we keep pardoning people who have ripped off the public, who have ripped off investors, and getting a get out of card free out of jail card. So I think we have to also recognize that the organizations of our government that actually were helping us with fraud, abuse, have been cut. We all don't like to pay taxes. You know, we think about the IRS, but the IRS had a program, it was a criminal investigation program, that actually found $9.5 billion worth of fraud, and it's been cut. And why? Because they had on their radar 1,500 people who made $1 million or more a year that they were investigating for not paying taxes since 2017. So that's not going to happen. And that group actually was going after people who were laundering money, who were drug trafficking, who were human trafficking. So where's the abuse? I'd say it's the cuts that's going on right now in our government. And for me, I hate to think this sinisterly, but these cuts are, for me, in my opinion, are meant to get us to distrust our government and in its organizations and departments, so that when we can't get through to Social Security to get an answer to our question, we're going to get upset. And then we're going to say, see, government doesn't work for us. So they can privatize it, take it over, and make more money for themselves. So I hope that we just pay attention to all of that going into the next election. Keep writing to my pen pal, but I don't really get much in response other than he's all in on the Trump agenda. And that's it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Eric.
Congressman John Moolenaar. What to say, what to say. I'm also going to turn my back on you because you've turned your back on us. So my question to Congressman John Moolenaar is, what's in it for you? What are you getting out of this? When you see people in your own district hurting, kids suffering, medical care being taken away, rights being taken away, what's in it for you? Do you get another paycheck from Davos? Like, do you get bonuses? Do you get bumps in your paycheck? A little extra in those coffers because you've decided that veterans only need 20% of their health care? What's in it for you? What are you getting out of this? Is it pride? Is it power? What are you getting? Because the rest of us are hurting, and the rest of us are scared, and the rest of us don't want to see our houses go away, and the rest of us don't want to see our water go away, and the rest of us want to be able to breathe the air. I hate to tell you, John Moolenaar, but you drink the same water we do, you breathe the same air we do, and you get your groceries from the same grocery store that we do. So what's in it for you? What perks are you getting that all the rest of us are not seeing? What is in it for you? That's all I have to say, John Moolenaar, and I can't wait to see you on the campaign trail.
Representative Moolenaar. I'm Charles DeMonaway. I'm a retired physician, live in Manistee on Lakeshore Road, and I got a couple of bones to pick with you. Maybe a few more, but we're going to limit it. My wife and I were abroad a while ago, and it was absolutely amazing, the response that we got from almost everybody we ran into. They asked us the question, what in the hell is going on with your country? The answer had to do with the last election, and they don't seem to think that that's enough. There's got to be more. And they're really worried, really, really worried. Couple of things, other things. Waste, fraud, and abuse. As a retired physician, I stay aware with what's going on in the medical business, the universities that are spending a lot of time and money trying to improve the health of our country. They are very, very near some substantial discoveries that are going to make a huge difference in cancer care, in various kinds of mental problems, brain problems, diabetes. But all of a sudden, a lot of them were fired right in the middle of their works. And if you know anything about the studies and sciences, if you cut them off in the middle, when they start, they almost always have to start from the beginning. That defines waste. It was Lastly, I'm going to say something that really, really upsets me. I'm having a tough time the last month recognizing the country that I'm living in. It doesn't seem to be the way it's been most of my life. Do what you can, Moolenaar. Fix it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Sir?
My name's Dave North. Hello, Mr. Moolenaar. My name's Dave North. I live in Ludington, Michigan, so I'm one of your constituents. And I guess there's been a lot of things expressed. I would agree with what most people are saying here. It seems to me that there are a lot of various concerns, and they concern me as well. If you could see the board behind me, there's a wide variety of things that concern me that are going on. So I won't take time to reiterate points that other people have made, but I would like to remind you that you were elected by your constituents to represent and serve your constituents, not to ignore them. And in addition, when you took your oath of office, you swore an oath to the Constitution of this country. You did not swear an oath to one man.
That's right. Thank you so much. Sir.
Yeah, hi. Representative Moolenaar, never met you, but I have corresponded on email. Not a very satisfactory correspondence. But anyway, yeah, let's see. I'm a Manistee Township resident and a veteran, and my wife and I have lived in in Michigan most of our lives. I agree with a lot of what's been said, and I would just like to hit a couple of points or reinforce a couple of points. The first one of which is we live in a constitutional republic, and the Constitution says we're not governed by a set of oligarchs who do everything. But three equal sets of equal parts of government, of which the legislative is one. And the legislative is really unique in that they're the only branch of government that actually is voted by a region, a locality, neighborhoods, and who is responsible to that district for being in office and to uphold the thing. So I really think that you and a lot of the Republicans have let us down in upholding that the responsibilities of the legislature. Certainly in response to the tariffs, as people have spoken before. But one thing I'd like to point out is that nobody likes to pay taxes, but we all recognize that the government needs to be funded. These services and everything that people want, and which were passed by legislatures past, need to be paid for. And instead, we have a government that's focusing on, oh yes, we're going to give tax cuts to millionaires and billionaires, and at the expense of people. And in many cases, these things are not, the savings that they're talking about, are wasteful in and of theirself. The cutting people in the IRS, as somebody mentioned before, the Forest Service. Oh yeah, we're going to cut back the Forest Service. The Forest Service is a money maker for this country and for this state. I worked in business many years, and I know that some whiz kid is not going to come into your business and identify, oh yeah, this is wasteful, we can get rid of that guy, without spending a long time learning what the business is about. And that's exactly what we've seen. So, in closing, I just want to accentuate what many people have said, that you are not doing your job, and it's hard to see with the way things are going right now that you have any hope of maintaining the majority come 2 years from now.
Sir, what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jay Cardinal.
Jay Cardinal, thank you so much.
Anyway, I'm Mark Anderson. I live here in Manistee for about 15 years, and Vietnam vet, and I don't know, my COPD is keeping me from doing a whole lot of things I'd like to be doing, but that's nothing but what I'd like to really do is get Trump out of office. He is a 34-count convicted felon. I mean, who's got a president in any other country that's been found guilty of fraud 34 times, or whatever the number is? And how many cases of rape has he been charged with? I mean, give me a break. But anyway, I think I need to sit in that chair rather than look at him. But anyway, I'm just wondering, did you vote to indict President Trump when he was at 45? Because if you didn't, I don't see how you got reelected, because I didn't vote for you for sure. And I'm guessing most of these folks didn't either. But I don't know, I've been doing, I think the vets programs have been pretty good to me, but I've been going to the medical because they declared me permanently disabled from the Vietnam Agent Orange stuff and a few other things. And so, I mean, I'm doing well that way, but I'm not doing well just getting around too much. But also would like to, when I was saying about his wanting to get rid of him, if the DOJ or the Congress or whoever doesn't get him arrested soon, I think the American citizens need to get together and find out how to go down en masse, like 2 or 3 million people, and arrest his butt. Do a citizen's arrest. And if he wants to sue us for doing a false arrest, I don't know how he's going to prove it. Because, I mean, after his indictment on the insurrection, what did Mitch McConnell say right afterwards? He was guilty as hell. I mean, give me a break. So what's the Justice Department done? That day, he should have, I guess it was, I don't know, was it, I don't know, whoever the Attorney General was, should have said, okay, if it's our job, then I guess we got to arrest him and throw him in jail. Because, I mean, he proved he did it. They admitted he did it. He's admitted he did it. Anyway, enough of this.
All right.
I'll be happy to help pay for 50% of the budget.
Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. I see a lot of people leaving, so I can't thank you all enough for coming forward and the courage it takes to speak out. This resistance is good. It is good, and I'm so glad that we're keeping that energy up. You know, I'm sorry the congressman didn't join us today. I was prepared for the congressman to join us today. I was well prepared. I had 6 pages of questions. But your presence here, it proves that democracy doesn't wait for his permission to exist and to live, because it's living through your voices that we're all speaking today. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. Your questions were powerful, your statements were powerful, and hopefully, you know, it's enough to move the congressman to maybe come and talk to the residents of Congressional District 2. Your commitment to your community shows not just because you spoke, but because you are here. And that is so, so important. And it gives me so much hope. And yeah, we hope, and we're going to send this footage to the congressman. So he, you know, will send it. So what happens after that is not up to us, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that the congressman hears each and every one. What, ma'am?
I just wanted to say, I am Karen Goodman, your county commissioner for Manistee County. And I've listened to everything you say, and I see everything on the board. In Manistee County, I'm sure in Ludington, Kentwater, Mason, all these different areas, you're facing these same things. And we watch very closely here. I am your only Democrat on a very Republican commission in a very Republican city council. So it's a tightrope we walk. But we try not to bring the politics into this. What I would say to Moolenaar is that he's forgiven that he was elected by a certain percentage. That doesn't mean everybody. Dave and I think of is that there was a few hundred that didn't vote for me for this position, but I still have to represent them. I still have to give them a voice, and I still have to listen. I may not agree 100%, but they have value in this community, and Moolenaar has forgotten that. And he needs to be reminded, and he needs to be told to move on, because he's sitting with a group that is only benefiting from power, and there is money. It is so prevalent in this party, in this Republican Party, that it's nerve-wracking how they are destroying the rest of our economy so they have to depend on it. So that's really what I wanted to say as your
Thank
representative
you.
here.
Thank you so much.